Uh-oh.
Noni. Noni. Noni.
Mic ngarahan kan ya ke halakat. Hello, good evening. Or rather, good afternoon. Can you hear my voice, people? Right. Okay, that's good. That's good. I'll wait a few minutes because it's not 5 o'clock yet, and I think we have quite a large crowd. I'll start the class at 5 minutes past 4, 5 minutes past 5 rather. Can you hear my voice? Anybody?
Yes, we can.
Okay, right. So the first slide is there. I will begin again. So let us say that in formal writing, short forms are not used. Of course, everybody knows what short forms are. So in other words, we are talking about that's a kind of, let's say, if we write informally, we may use short forms. And also in some academic writing, sometimes I see it, but when I see it or when you see it, it really doesn't mean that, there's a best of the things that you should be doing. So as we are people who are learning to write academically well, we shouldn't use short forms. And of course, we can use short forms when we speak. And when we speak, it's of course kind of a second nature for people to use short forms. So anyway, everybody knows what short forms are, like for example, don't, doesn't, and so on, can't, and so on. So they are short forms. Please make sure that you avoid using those. Now, use hyphenations only when the meaning may become ambiguous. If the meaning is going to become unclear, or if there is a need for you to use hyphenations, make sure that you use them. You should use them in if the words are group pairs. For example, contact-based, research-related, email, and so on. If you remove the dash from the mail and then have email, you really won't know what it is technically. But of course, everybody uses this, and so these days it shouldn't really be a problem. But we need to have grammatically correct English when we are writing our assignments. Okay. What hyphens do is it just glues words together, right? So like for example, if you have some of the examples I have given, these two words are connected, in a way that they cannot actually be separated. So that is why they use, even though they are two words, they become sort of a kind of a word pair. So that's why they use it like that. If you do have any queries, you can actually speak. And at the moment, when I'm actually on the screen using the slides, I may not be able to see what you write on the chat window. But if you speak, certainly I can hear you. You should use them if the words are grouped in pairs. Like, for example, I have given you some of the examples here. The next thing is, of course, American and British English. Now, what we see is sometimes we see American English mixed with British English, but most of the people who teach us writing, academic writing, they actually advise if you use American English, that's okay. If you use British English, that's okay. But make sure that you're consistent. That means if you're using American English, stick to American English, and if you're using British, also the same. So let us see what they are. A word of caution: ensure to maintain a consistency when using these words, because sometimes if you have a lecturer who probably may have studied in America, then he or she might use American English, and like that in our college too, there might be some people who might opt to use American English. Some words may be spelled differently, such as center and center. So I think CNTRE is the UK, and CNTER is actually American. So if you're writing center the American way, please make sure that right throughout your assignment, please stick to the American style. And vice versa, also the same. So if you're using the British style, center CRE, TRE, that means you should actually stick to that as well. Now, this is nothing to do with spelling. This is quite different. Certain appendages, or maybe pieces of equipment, or maybe parts, they are named differently in the English soil as well as in the United States. Now, undercarriage. Does anyone of you know what an undercarriage is? Can you tell me what it is? Just for the sake of asking. No response. What do you think it is? Do we have any answers for that? Undercarriage? Does anybody know what an undercarriage is? You can write in the chat window if you want. Is it too difficult? Who would like to speak? Okay. Going back to the slides. Right. Undercarriage is, of course, the wheels of an aeroplane, the ones that, that go up and down. When they want to land the aeroplane, they will have the undercarriage down, and then this is the same thing. But you can see that, these are different set of words used to describe those. In the British English, it's undercarriage, and then in the American English, it's a landing gear. And of course, I don't know whether it will be possible for us to sort of really understand the different words used to describe the same thing. So, and there are quite a few differences in British English and American English. In British English, a torch, what we use to shed light on something. If you want to find something, we use a torch. And if that is, in Britain, they use a torch. But in America, in the American English, it's called a flashlight. So most often, the security personnel, like the police force, they would actually use one of those things. And this is a funny one, biscuit. So in UK, we call it biscuit. And in America, they call it cookie or maybe cracker. There's another spell of cracker, by the way, K-R-A-K-K-E-R-S. But don't you use that, because, that may be very, very funny if you used cracker to spell like that. But make sure that you're consistent, whether it is British or whether it is American. Just stick to one of those. Don't actually just shuttle back and forth American and British English, and that probably won't be appreciated by your lecturers. And here is one of the things that you can do: search Google for these differences in words, where the American and British English is concerned. And I think I've given you the site there. And this is a site, and of course all these words are taken from that site. And there are more in the exercise that I've taken, and you can actually, I would say, use this. It's quite interesting, and I mean, some of them actually I am also not too familiar with. So by making this class possible, I think I've learned quite a lot. Not only that, in every class we are also learning, I'm sure, so that's what's happening. So that's what learning is. So let us say British or American. Write your answers. Nappy. Yeah. Just write whether it is British or American. Can you do it? Nappy is American? Okay. Somebody has written it's American. Nappy is American. Any other answers? So Ulfa says it's British. Well, that means, there's a discrepancy here. So some of us think that Nappy is British, while others think it's American. So let us get to the answer. I would like one more response at least. Okay. Nappy is, I would say, yeah. Somebody is writing the answer. Nappy is British. So what word they use for nappy in America? Could you write it, please? Diapers. Yeah, very good. Yes, of course, diaper. Yeah, right. Very good. So you guys know quite a lot about it, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Right. Well done, people. And what about aubergine? Anyway, I don't think I'm going to wait too long on this one, because it's quite simple. But the reason why I actually, I have given this to you is because, to give you the hang of it, so that you can actually understand. You can actually go and do a little bit of search before you write what it is. Okay, aubergine. What language is it? Aubergine?
British.
British. Yeah, very good. Yes. Um, yeah. And what about drugstore? If I can hear your voice, that would be quicker, I guess. Drugstore.
Pharmacy.
Dr- yeah. Which place is it? I mean, is it America or British? Drugstore.
American.
Drugstore is American. What about Britain? What would they use for drugstore in Britain?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy. Yeah. Okay. Another word. Can you think of another word? What about a chemist?
Yeah.
Chemist.
Right.
Shop.
Yeah, that's British, isn't it? Okay. Here's a common one. Mobile phone. So what is this? Which country?
British.
British. Mobile phone is British. What is the equivalent of mobile phone for the Americans?
Cell phone.
Telephone. Oh
Cell
no,
phone.
cell phone. Yes, exactly. That's it. Yes. Yeah. So you guys are ahead of me. Dustbin.
American.
Dustbin is American. What about
British.
dustbin is British? What about Americans?
Garbage can.
Garbage can. Yes. Garbage pants.
Garbage can.
Garbage can. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. That's American. Yeah. What about pants?
American.
Pants
British.
is American. Pants is British. Pants is American. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't blame you, because I'm just as bad. But I think pants probably would be American, and trousers. Yeah. Trousers is British. Yes. Full stop. Full stop. Don't tell me that it's just when you apply your brakes on. That's not it. So which one do you think it is? Full stop.
Dot.
Dot. Yes, but where would you use that dot anyway?
In a sentence.
In a sentence, yes. To end a sentence, yes. So full stop. Is it British or American?
It's American.
It's American. So what's the British equivalent for that?
Dot.
Hmm?
Dot.
Let
Dot.
you. Yeah. Well, you can give an answer, can't you? What do you think it is? Oh, you are silent, so that means everybody is thinking. Okay, I'm not going to wait that long because it's almost 5:30. So full stop is actually British, and the American equivalent would be period. Period. Okay, and underground. Where is this? Underground. Is it American?
British.
Underground is British. And what is the equivalent for underground in American?
Subway.
Subway. Yeah, very good. Vacation? I'm going on vacation.
British.
Vacation is British. And what about the American equivalent for that?
Holiday.
Holiday.
Holiday. So holiday is American and vacation is British.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I wonder if there's anybody who's going to disagree with that. I would think
holiday is British.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that means vacation must be obviously American, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great. And what about car park?
British.
Car park is British. And what about American?
Parking lot.
Parking lot, yes. Okay. And chips,
Fries. British.
chips is British. And equivalent
Fries.
would be
Fries, French fries.
French fries. Yes, of course. Yeah, I mean, if you had been in Britain for a while and then come to the Maldives and then ask for chips, they would give you that hard one. Okay, license plate.
British.
License plate is British. License plate is American. So what about the British one then?
Number plate.
Number plate. Yeah, right. Yes, very good. Number plate is British and license plate is American. Yeah. Pavement
British.
and American.
American is sidewalk.
Sidewalk. Yeah. Anti-clockwise.
British.
Anti-clockwise is British. And what about American?
Counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Yes, exactly. Very good, people. So this is just a general idea. So what happens is, if you use vacation, use the word vacation throughout. If you use aubergine, use the word aubergine throughout. And if you use the word drugstore, use that throughout. So it's not actually a hard and fast thing, but some of your lecturers may not actually like it when you get that all mixed up. So make sure that you are consistent. So most often, since we use British English, we tend to be using British English rather than American. But nowadays, when we actually go for the spell check in Word, because Microsoft Word is American, so you have all the Z's coming in instead of S's, and that will happen. So anyway, you can change it and then you can write it, so it shouldn't really be a problem. Okay. Formatting and grammar. If advised, you can follow the UW Bristol Harvard Referencing Guide, or you can use the APA referencing style. And those of you who are actually enrolled to do any UW courses, then I think you should follow the UW Bristol thing, and all the others can use the APA style. And the same rule applies for APA guidelines. So make sure that those of you who are in the UW, you follow the UW referencing guide. Also for the APA, the same. From time to time, we conduct referencing sessions, and you can always join those sessions. And I think Mr. Yasir does it quite often, and you're all welcome to join these courses. Okay. Pay attention how your document looks. This is very important. If you produce or if you present something that looks careless, something that looks not very neat, your lecturers may be put off. And when that happens, the consequences are bad. So make sure that you take the pains to present a good piece of work that looks neat, that looks nice, that looks that it has been taken care of, that somebody has actually spent a lot of time proofreading, making sure that everything has been done well. So before you submit any pieces of work, make sure that you go through your work and look for any irregularities, look for any punctuation marks, errors in punctuation, or even grammar, or even to do with the use of language, right? If there are sentences that you have written that might not actually make meaning, all of these points are actually important when you're writing academically. Use fonts advised by the college. Okay, now I think in Villa College the font size is I don't know, what is it? What's the font size in Villa?
12 points.
Sorry?
12 points.
12, yeah, font 12. Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. Font 12. And have a reasonable margin. So it really doesn't mean that, half the page should go to the margin. No, that's not how it should be. So make sure that, you have a reasonable margin, something like maybe, I'm not going to give you any lengths, but, you should have a certain width there. You also advised on the size of fonts and style. Font style, make sure that you use a font style that is actually, in some cases, they are recommended, they are given, and the rubric will say, okay, font style must be this, and then font size must be this. So please adhere to those, when you're writing your assignment. And use line spacing as directed. So line spacing also very important. These are little things when you say, but they become very big things when you write your assignment. So if you're, if you have your lines, sort of very close to one another, crammed, then it wouldn't look very nice. It should be well spaced. It should be, nicely presented. Okay. Which one of these are correct? Let us see. Your font size should be 16. Is it okay? It is correct. I heard somebody say something, but she was speaking so softly. Sorry?
I said
Wrong.
too
Should
big.
be 12.
It should be, somebody said 16. Oh.
It
Okay.
should be 12, right?
It should be 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, most often I think they would actually go and instruct you that your font size should be 12. Well, of course, font size, if they say it's 12, it should be 12. And some people might say it might be 13. So in which case also, you're going to follow their instructions. All right. And you should have double line spacing. Is it correct?
It's 1.5, I think.
1.5. Yeah. So 1.5. Yeah. Okay. So 1.5 line spacing. So you should have 1.5 line spacing rather than double spacing. So that's correct. If you want, you can enclose your writing in full borderline. So say if you encase your writing on the page with a borderline, will that be okay? In other words, put your writing in a rectangle, that will be all right? Will it be all right? How many of you do that? Sometimes, I see, especially when we mark assignments, some people actually do that. They put their pages in rectangles, because there's a whole lot of they're encased in a rectangle. All the letters are encased in a rectangle, all the lines. So is it allowed? Okay, I think that you should actually refrain from doing it. Please make sure that you don't. You do not actually use, border lines like that. Okay, and when you say you should have a margin, it really doesn't mean that you're drawing lines. You don't draw lines, but there is an equal space that you give something like maybe 2.5 centimeters on each side. Your direct quotes should not be more than 30% of the assignment. What do you say to this one? Suppose you're using direct quotes in your assignment, it should not be more than 30%. Is it okay? Confusing? Hello? Any ideas? I think, most of you are new, so I think I'll give you the answer. Now, direct quotes should be not more than 10% of your assignment. So that means if you're writing a 1,000 word assignment, it should be something like 100 words. And if you're writing 2,000 words, that should be something like 200 words. So please do not go beyond that. Okay. And this is, it's not confusing. So in other words, if you do not use direct quotes, that probably will be so much better. But there are some instances where you need to use a quotation, like a direct quote. For example, if you're giving a definition, that might be difficult for you to put in your own words. Or if they are using something very, very important, if you find that it's very difficult for you to put it in your own words, then maybe, you could use this direct quote. So should be not more than 10 words, 10%. It is better to have your cover page with some patterns on them. Well, what do you think is the answer? I would ask you to write the answers this time. So could we write the answers? Say when you're writing your assignment on the cover page, sometimes you may have some patterns. Sometimes you do have some patterns. So is it a good idea? You can write your answers on the chat box. It's not a good idea. Right, yes. I think, yeah, some of you have written the answers. It should be plain. It shouldn't have any fancy fonts too. It must be something like, it can be Tahoma or maybe Times New Roman. Excuse me. Yeah, right. Yes, I think, you are right there. So make sure that you don't have any patterns there. That is not actually something to do with academic writing. It doesn't actually go with academic writing. Some words of caution here. Authors are authors, they are not writers. So when you're writing your assignment, please do not refer to authors as writers, because writers are different from authors. So make sure that you always write them as authors and not writers. Okay, and if you do have any queries, you can ask. Always use the surname of authors, even if they are friends. So sometimes when you write your assignments, you may have a friend who might have published an article, and that you would want to use his or her article in your assignment. So even if you're a friend of, if the author is a friend of yours, do not use the first name. Always use the surname of the authors. Surname is generally the last name, right? I hope it is clear. If you have any queries, you can ask now or maybe even later. Make sure that the authors' names are spelled correctly. It is possible, especially when you have authors, whose names they appear foreign, like French or maybe Italian or maybe some other letters that we don't recognize sometimes. Make sure that you you take great care in trying to understand, what really what they really are, so that you don't get into any difficulties of misspelling their names. Okay. Use
So, how
yes.
about Japanese, Chinese names?
Yeah, well, that's a very
It's a bit
important
hard
question.
to tell, yeah.
Well, sorry, it's really difficult. I mean, if something is written in Japanese, then probably we wouldn't be able to recognize those. But if you do not have any alternative, then I think you need to maybe put that in as
No,
it
I mean
is.
I've seen an article like while doing my research, I saw an article with the Japanese name, and
Hmm.
the full name was used, whereas the second person, the second author, he was probably from the Western countries, and his name was written the way you have mentioned, the last name and the initial of the first name.
Yes.
But for the Japanese name, it was written full name was written over there.
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah, sometimes they do it. Yes, I think in that case, if the full name is written, then you have no alternative but to write it as it is. And sometimes I too have run into difficulties. Where you take an article, a journal article, you access a journal article from JSTOR, or maybe from Google Scholar, and sometimes there are names that we cannot understand, and then sometimes they're just one name. So for one person there might be just one name, and for another person there might be his first name and then in the surname. So what I do is, if you do not have two names, then I really put in the name that I have there, so that is it. And Chinese, Japanese, and people from Taiwan and all these places may have names that we might not actually understand. So anyway, and also, to make matters worse, if you have a person's name written in Japanese letters, then that means that is it. We can't really recognize those. So however funny it appears, it is something that happens, and I think it's something that we need to address. Okay.
okay.
So yeah, avoid footnotes. Now, uh, occasionally we see footnotes written by some students in their assignments. Footnotes are a different discipline, I guess, to be used in academic writing. Probably people who write, who study law, and they write footnotes, and then who use names of some terminology, might be Arabic terminology. And if you want to give an explanation for that, then that means you might actually use footnote. But for us, we try not to use footnotes. Okay. Avoid direct quotes. Use paraphrasing or summarizing. Now let's make sure that if it is kind of very difficult language, make sure that you may use a direct quote, but other than that, you should limit yourself to sort of using paraphrasing, because when you use paraphrase, it tells the author, it tells not the author, it tells your reader that you have understood what the other person has written. So if you do direct quotes all the time, then that means um, your lecturers will think, well, why? Why do you always keep using direct quotes? um, does it mean that you don't know? Does it mean that you don't have time to actually go through it and then try to put them in your own words? So make sure that these things are actually very important. Make sure that using direct quotes is not actually a well-liked idea. Make sure that you actually do not use it. Okay. Now, when we talk about grammar and spelling, of course, we have done a little bit of Britain and British and American English. Other than that, if you misspell words, that can be very bad as well. So make sure that you use the spell checker, make sure that you know about the spelling before you submit your article, and also make sure that your sentences are grammatically written. Make sure that the necessary punctuation marks are entered. Make sure that you do not actually present a careless piece of work, because your lecturers will see through. And if you want, say, 15-20 marks be shaved off your assignment, well, go ahead and do it. But I wouldn't actually advise you to do it anyhow, because that's not a good idea. Okay. Spelling can be American or British, but be consistent. I think we've actually gone into this one before. We've done this, and I think you are aware. The reason for this kind of class is, of course, this is an eye opener to make sure that you understand what is going on, and that is it. It's not. We can't actually per se. We cannot actually teach you. This is not a course, but this is just an introduction on how you can actually go about this. All right. Grammatical aspects of the paper need to be checked fully. So like formatting is very important. Like, for example, you have to make sure that a subheading will not actually appear the last few words or the last phrase in the page. Okay. Because after the subheading there should be something written. If it is a main heading, well, use a fresh page. But for subheadings should be written on the side, and underneath you should be writing some explanation. Okay. Avoid redundancy. Now, you do not have to say in this paper the authors. No, you don't have to say in this paper, because you're reading the paper. Start from the authors and then continue. So that is academic writing. That's formal writing. And whenever you can actually avoid using a word, do it. Avoid it. Think about, is it short? Is it sweet? Does the meaning come out clearly? That's all we are asking. Citations. The reference list should consist of only the sources you have used to derive information. Now, sometimes you may use a lot of articles, but you only use some of these articles in your assignment. So write only the articles that you have used in the reference page, so that all the in-text citations tally with the references that you have entered in the reference page. So make sure that is something that is checked more than once, making sure that it is very well taken care of. So we are coming to the end of the session. More
So
on
just one
citation.
more question.
Yeah.
If you use abbreviations for some of the terminology, can we put like in the index or maybe at the end the long form of those ones which we have used?
Well, in academic writing, we tend not to use abbreviations, but if there are
No,
acronyms,
just abbreviations of things which we normally use in the business terminology and things like that.
that can be used. That can be used. Okay, because there are quite a lot of terms that you use in the business world, and then sometimes like say GDP or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
So
You wouldn't want to write
that
the full form of it.
no. And it is better not to write the full form always. You can write it the first time, and then for all the subsequent times you can use GDP. No problem. Okay. And also the other thing is acronyms. So something like if you're going to write World Health Organization, but you don't need to write World Health Organization. If you say WHO, everybody will understand.
WTO,
Yeah. Okay. And then and nobody will say that what is this who is writing, because WHO is actually written in capital letters, is not? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Right. in author prominent referencing. Let us say what is author prominent. Here, see, Colin 2000 showed that. So here you can see that this is the surname of this person, and it is started off with his surname, and open bracket, put the year on 2000, and then showed that. Here is the reporting verb there, showed that something is there. So this is author prominent referencing. When you use the author's name in front, you see that you are giving sort of more emphasis to the author rather than what is said. But you can use it interchangeably. It really doesn't matter. And in information prominent referencing, you have as seen in Reds. This is it appears, the reference appears at the end of the sentence. So, and you can see that the full stop appears after the bracket is closed. And as you can see that the difference is that in author prominent referencing, you use the name, the surname of the person outside the bracket, and then you have the year enclosed in the bracket. But on the contrary, you have in information prominent referencing, you have open brackets. Both the author's name and the year are entered in the bracket, separated by a comma between the name and the year. Get it? Any questions? Okay, that's fairly simple. Can you spot any errors? Now we've got a few minutes to go. So let us see. Peter 2007 argues that there is no benefit of teaching academic writing to students. Can you find any mistakes there? Please read it and let me know. If you are new, well, you don't have to.
There's a comma after the bracket, right?
Yeah, there's a comma after. So that means it is correct, isn't it?
No.
I think it's correct, the first one.
You think it's correct. And somebody has said it's not correct. So now I'm confused. And you are silent.
When citing, the first one is the format which we have to use, because you need to use the brackets for the year, and then the name comes before that.
Right. And
I think
that one is correct, is it?
Yes.
I think it is correct.
You think it's correct? Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Well, okay. I don't. I mean, it's that happens because you people are new to this. There is no comma at the end, of the bracket. All right. So Peter 2007 argues so there is no comma there, and there is no benefit of teaching academic writing to students. So the rest of the sentence is correct, is it?
Full stop is not there.
Ah, okay. I forgot it. Right. Anyway, that's an error, isn't it? So you should have a full stop. Very good. And here, the second one is Peter 2000 argues that there is no benefit in academic writing to students. What is wrong with this sentence?
Yeah, is not in the bracket.
It's not in the brackets, yes. And
there's a comma after.
There's a comma after the, yeah. There shouldn't be a comma there, yes. And then no benefit.
Question mark.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a question mark there. Instead, there should be
full stop.
A full stop, yes. Yeah, right. Very good. And Peter 2007 suggests, comma, frogs never eat at daytime. Full stop, inverted commas. Your suggestions.
Name should be out of the bracket.
The name should be out of the, so Peter should be outside the bracket. And yeah, 2000 suggests, and then you have a comma there, and open inverted commas. All right. So is it correct?
After those changes, yes.
Okay. Any other suggestions? Or do you think you can spot any errors?
Does the comma need to be there or not?
Does the comma need to be where, madam?
It was the third one, right? Peter's.
Uh-huh.
I'm just
So-
not sure if after sentence normally you put it there or not.
Okay.
Maybe should
One
we
second.
suggest that
No, that's very interesting because you've said that you're not sure and then you're confused. That's very good because in which case if you find yourself in a situation like that, then you should ask someone, clarify. So this is the reason. Okay, so let me explain this to you. Now Peter should be outside, and then you have the brackets and suggests comma. That's correct. And open inverted commas, of course, open inverted commas mostly begin with capital letter. So you have frogs never eat at the daytime, full stop, and close inverted commas. Okay?
This
that
may
is
not
it.
be an error, but maybe we could have rephrased it and paraphrased the part that we wrote in the inverted comma with what you have explained before.
Yeah. So this is a direct quote. So in the direct quote, there is something missing there, right? What is missing there is whenever you use direct quotes, make sure that you use the page number. So Peter 2007, comma, right? P dot 17 suggests and so on. So that is a direct quote. This is something that you need to understand. So anyway, when it comes to the question of referencing, in-text referencing, we will be explaining these to you. Okay? Here, I don't think we have time for this. We almost punctually at 6 o'clock. In his book, Qualitative Research Methods, published in 2016, Dr. Shahid has made a remark pointing out that, comma, open inverted commas, qualitative researchers are interested in finding out facts from different people, their individual insights on a particular subject. Now, quite a lot of things are, needed to change here. Okay? This is actually something that we are going to teach you. So I'm not going to ask you many questions on this, and there are so many things wrong in this sentence. But anyhow, if you're interested, maybe you can take a look later. All right? So we have the use of personal pronouns I and we. In academic writing, we tend to avoid the use of the first person, whether it is singular or plural. We do not use them. Okay? I and we are most often not used. Instead, we use the passive voice. Okay? So some academics actually disagree the use of personal pronouns. It would be advisable. It would not. It would be able to use a passive voice in academic writing. So it's an error there. Dangling prepositions. So make sure that the prepositions actually do not appear at the end of a sentence. I'm going to give you a good sentence here. Officially, it is an error to end a sentence using a preposition. Look at the example here. Never use a preposition to end a sentence with. How do you like that? So here, somebody is saying that don't use prepositions to end a sentence. And then here it is written, never use a preposition to end a sentence with. And with is a preposition. Okay? Well, it's quite funny there. Okay, so I think, that's all for the night. And use serial commas. Now, this is very important. I will buy oranges, bananas, apples, and mangoes. So you can see that even after apples, before and there is, so before the end of the last item, you always use and, but before that you use a comma. I will buy oranges, bananas, apples, and oranges. No, this is not right. Thank you, people. And let's get back to the chat box. And please write in the chat box, I am present. And I will later record it and then we'll send. Everybody, please write, I am present. So I hope everybody has done it. Okay, here we go.
Sir,
Yeah. Okay.
when I write my email address in that attendance form, it says it must be a number.
Oh, right then. So what do you think I should do?
I don't know.
I am facing the same issue as well.
What do we have?
When we write our student email address in the box that's provided, it says it must be a number. So we cannot submit the form.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
think that must be sorted out then. That's I think we need to sort of get around to that problem. And last time also, some of you had some difficulties. I think, they were addressed, but today you can't. Do you have the link there? You write your comments, people?
Yeah, it's with that link that I'm trying. But
Yeah,
it says
and
that we have to
so,
write a number for the email address.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm not
So
actually,
we're unable to submit it because it says
okay.
it has to be a number only.
Yeah, right. Here's the link. I can see the link. Yes, it has been given to you. But anyway, let me get back to you on it tomorrow. I will speak to the concerned parties and then we'll let you know tomorrow. Probably send an email to you guys. Okay. Right?
So should we leave the form for today?
Sorry.
Should we leave the form for today? Like we don't have to fill it?
Well, yeah. If you can't write it, then there is no alternative. There you can't do much, can you? I still. I'm sorry that this has happened. So we will actually speak about it tomorrow and then let you know. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Right. Yeah. All right. Now I am actually, I have stopped recording.